You don't need to look far to find the greatest mystery of your life. It's been with you all along, waiting for you to see it for what it truly is. Every moment you've lived, every decision you've made, has been shaped not by the world around you, but by the way you've chosen to interpret it. The most powerful forces at work in your life are not external. They are the thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that stir deep within you, often unnoticed, yet they shape everything you experience. What if you could change how you see, feel, and respond to the world? What if, in understanding the energy you bring to every situation, you could transform not just your actions, but your very reality? The world doesn't happen to you. It happens because of you. And once you realize that, everything changes. Most people wander through life unaware of the stories they tell themselves. These stories are not just narratives. They are the invisible scripts that dictate your reactions, your choices, and the way you interact with others. When you begin to peel back the layers, you realize how much of what you believe is simply a creation of your own mind, one you've accepted as truth without ever questioning it. The thoughts that loop endlessly in your mind, the assumptions you make about who you are and what you deserve. These are the foundation upon which you've built your reality. And yet, the moment you see this for what it truly is, you gain the power to rewrite it. The narratives that once controlled you become tools in your hands. No longer bound by the limiting stories of the past, you can choose a new path. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful hope. It's about understanding how deeply intertwined your thoughts and emotions are with the life you're living. When you become conscious of your inner world, you unlock the potential to shape everything that lies beyond it. You don't need to search for the keys to success, happiness, or peace. They're right inside you. You are the creator of the stories you live, and once you learn to embrace that truth, nothing will ever feel out of your control again. The journey begins with a single shift, a deep recognition that everything you experience is a reflection of the way you view yourself and the world. And with that recognition, the entire world becomes yours to create. Chapter 1. The Mirror Within. We often go through life assuming that the world outside of us is the primary force shaping our reality. We look to external circumstances, what happens to us, the people around us, the events unfolding in the world, as the main drivers of our experiences. Yet, the truth is far deeper and more intricate. Everything we encounter is a reflection of the state of our inner world. Think of the mind as a mirror. Just as a mirror reflects whatever is placed before it, our mind reflects whatever thoughts, beliefs, and emotions we harbor within ourselves. If the mind is clouded with fear, doubt, and negativity, it will cast that same distorted view on the world. The lens through which we observe the world is shaped by the internal clutter we've accumulated over the years. Ideas about who we are, what we deserve, what is possible. This internal setup acts as the filter through which everything we encounter is interpreted. What happens when we change the quality of what's inside the mirror? Suddenly, the reflection changes. If you begin to clear the mental fog, embracing thoughts of possibility, self-worth, and growth, the world starts to appear in a new light. What was once overwhelming becomes manageable. What seemed impossible turns into a challenge worth pursuing. The shifts happen not because the outside world has changed, but because the reflection inside the mirror has evolved. This process, however, is not about controlling the outside world. It's about shifting how you engage with it from within. You begin to recognize that your thoughts and emotions are not passive responses to life, but active participants in shaping your journey. The way you feel about a setback, a success, a person, or an opportunity, it's all shaped by the inner beliefs that guide your perception. There's a quiet power in understanding this. When you grasp that you are not a passive observer but a participant in how the world unfolds before you, the possibilities expand. Your internal state becomes your greatest ally. Emotions, rather than being seen as temporary disturbances, are seen as signals, important markers that inform you about the alignment of your inner world with the reality you're experiencing. If you feel anger, frustration, or sadness, it's often an invitation to look deeper, to understand the unresolved beliefs or fears at play. These emotions, while uncomfortable, point the way to personal growth. When we truly internalize the idea that our external world mirrors our internal state, we no longer feel powerless in the face of life's challenges. We begin to understand that our power lies not in controlling what happens, but in choosing how we respond. We become less reactive and more reflective, able to look at situations with a clear mind and an open heart. This reflection is not just an individual phenomenon, it spreads. The way you perceive people is a direct reflection of the way you perceive yourself. If you harbor self-doubt or insecurity, you are likely to see others as judgmental or distant, even when they may not be. But when you begin to work on the mirror of your inner world, cultivating self-compassion, understanding, and acceptance, the way you view others shifts, often transforming your relationships in surprising ways. As the mirror within becomes clearer, so too does your experience of the world. The challenge is in taking the time to polish it. Daily practices of self-reflection, mindfulness, and awareness allow the mental fog to clear, helping you see the world for what it truly is, not something to fear or avoid, but a reflection of the deep well of potential within you. This journey of self-discovery is not about changing the world. It is about recognizing that the world we see is shaped by the world we carry within. When you understand that the mirror reflects your inner landscape, you step into a place of profound empowerment. The world will no longer feel like a series of random events or uncontrollable forces, but a vast playground where you are the artist painting the canvas of your life. Chapter 2. The Hidden Forces. We often think of ourselves as the conscious architects of our reality, making decisions, choosing actions, shaping our thoughts. But what if I told you that the vast majority of what drives us is hidden, operating beneath the surface, outside of our conscious awareness? These forces, quiet and unseen, are the hidden architects of our lives. They shape our reality in ways we often don't even realize. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like an iceberg. What you can see, the thoughts and actions that you're aware of, represent only a small fraction of your entire mental landscape. The rest, the massive portion submerged underwater, consists of your subconscious. This is the true driving force behind most of your decisions, beliefs, and behaviors. While we often think we make conscious choices, the subconscious mind is constantly working, influencing us in ways that often go unnoticed. At the core of these hidden forces are the patterns formed by past experiences, early childhood memories, cultural conditioning, unresolved traumas, learned behaviors. These experiences, buried deep within the subconscious, become the lens through which we view the world. They shape how we respond to new situations, how we interpret the actions of others, and even how we perceive ourselves. We don't choose these responses, they simply happen, like instinctive reflexes, because our subconscious mind believes they are the safest or most familiar way to handle life. It's easy to think of the subconscious as a passive repository of memories, but it's far more active than that. It serves as a filter, constantly organizing and interpreting the incoming information from the world around you. Think of it like an autopilot system. You might not consciously be aware of it, but the moment you interact with something or someone, your subconscious is already pulling from its stored data to dictate how you feel, what you think, and how you act. The issue arises when the information in this hidden layer of the mind is out of alignment with the life you consciously desire. For example, you may consciously want success and prosperity, but deep down, you may hold beliefs of inadequacy or fear of failure, passed down from past experiences or societal conditioning. These beliefs, stored in the subconscious, often sabotage your best efforts, leading to self-sabotage, procrastination, or a constant feeling of unworthiness, even if you're working hard and striving toward your goals. What makes these forces even more powerful is their subtlety. They often operate beneath the level of our awareness, influencing our thoughts and feelings without us realizing. A trigger, whether it's a specific situation, a person, or even an emotional response, can activate these subconscious patterns, sending us into automatic reactions. You might be startled by an emotion that doesn't seem to match the situation, or you might find yourself doing something you later regret, wondering why you acted that way. These aren't just random outbursts. They are reactions that stem from the deep well of your subconscious programming. But here's where things get truly transformative. Once we become aware of these hidden forces, we gain the power to rewrite them. The first step in this process is awareness, becoming mindful of the repetitive thoughts, emotional patterns, and automatic reactions that arise. They may seem natural, even ingrained, but they are simply the byproducts of past experiences, not your true nature. By noticing them, you start to separate who you are now from who you were in the past. From that awareness comes the ability to make a choice. Instead of reacting automatically, you can pause and ask yourself, is this response truly serving me, or is it an old pattern trying to keep me in a comfort zone? It's in those moments of pause, of choice, that real transformation happens. You can begin to gently challenge the beliefs and assumptions that have been guiding your actions for years, asking whether they're aligned with the life you truly want to live. The more you consciously choose to act outside of those hidden influences, the more you strengthen new neural pathways, which gradually shift your mental framework. This is not a quick fix or a one-time change. It's a process of consistent attention and subtle shifts, creating a new internal landscape that reflects who you are becoming. Over time, these small choices will begin to accumulate, creating lasting change in how you think, feel, and act. What was once a hidden force becomes something you can consciously navigate and shape, empowering you to take control of your life in ways you never thought possible. As you uncover these hidden forces, it's important to treat them with compassion. They are not enemies to fight, but parts of you that have been formed to protect, to cope, and to survive. They have served you, even if their methods are no longer needed. Understanding them without judgment allows you to break free from their grip, making space for new beliefs and behaviors that reflect your current desires and aspirations. It's not about banishing the subconscious. It's about understanding and redirecting its influence so it aligns with who you truly want to be. When you learn to partner with the hidden forces inside you, rather than being ruled by them, you begin to create a life that feels more authentic, more empowered, and more aligned with your deepest self. Chapter 3. The Power of Belief. It's easy to think of beliefs as simple ideas we hold about the world, about ourselves, or about others. But in truth, beliefs are far more powerful than that. They don't just shape our thoughts, they shape the very fabric of our reality. Beliefs have a quiet yet profound influence on everything we experience. They determine how we interact with the world, how we interpret events, and how we show up in our daily lives. Beliefs are like invisible threads that weave through our existence, binding us to a particular way of seeing the world. They often emerge from childhood experiences, societal conditioning, or past failures, but they don't always reflect who we are in the present. Instead, they reflect what we've accepted as truth, often without questioning it. Once ingrained, these beliefs operate in the background, influencing every decision we make, from the most mundane to the most significant. Imagine for a moment that you're walking through life with a set of lenses in front of your eyes. These lenses are your beliefs. If your lenses are tinted with doubt or fear, everything you see is colored by those emotions. Challenges become insurmountable, opportunities seem out of reach, and you may even begin to doubt your worthiness to succeed. On the other hand, if your lenses are tinted with optimism and confidence, the world opens up. Challenges become stepping stones, opportunities are seen as possibilities, and you approach life with a sense of curiosity and potential. The fascinating thing about beliefs is that they don't require evidence to take root. Once you believe something, your mind begins to search for evidence to support that belief, and often it finds what it's looking for, even if that evidence isn't based in reality. If you believe that the world is against you, you'll notice all the times things go wrong, reinforcing that belief. If you believe that you are deserving of love and success, you'll find opportunities and experiences that reflect those beliefs. The mind is incredibly powerful in this way. It will filter out anything that doesn't align with your belief system, even if it's in your best interest. At the core of belief is the idea of identity, We tend to think of beliefs as abstract concepts, but they're deeply tied to who we think we are. Your beliefs about success, for example, are rooted in your beliefs about your own abilities, worth, and potential. If you believe that success is reserved for a select few, or that it requires extraordinary talent, you might never take the steps necessary to achieve it. But if you believe that success is available to anyone who is willing to put in the work, your actions will reflect that belief, and you will begin to see progress in areas you once thought were out of reach. Beliefs are not static. They are dynamic and ever-changing. You may have started life with a set of beliefs handed down to you by family, culture, or circumstances, but as you grow and evolve, you have the power to reshape those beliefs. The key is awareness, recognizing the beliefs that no longer serve you, and consciously choosing to replace them with ones that align with your true desires. For example, if you hold the belief that you are not capable of financial success, you can begin to challenge that belief by taking small actions that prove otherwise. As you gather new evidence, your belief system will begin to shift. This process, however, requires patience and persistence. Your old beliefs will fight back, often in subtle ways, trying to keep you in familiar patterns. This is where the power of choice comes in. Each time you choose to act in alignment with a new belief, you weaken the grip of the old one. With each small victory, the new belief grows stronger, and eventually it becomes the lens through which you view the world. The most transformative beliefs are those that challenge the very core of your identity. The beliefs that say you are not enough, that you don't deserve happiness, or that you must work tirelessly without rest. These are the beliefs that keep you locked in a cycle of struggle, preventing you from experiencing the freedom and joy that is available to you. Rewriting these beliefs is a journey of deep self-discovery, and it often involves confronting the fears and insecurities that have been holding you back. Belief is a living, breathing force. It has the power to shape your present and create your future. When you begin to understand that your beliefs are not fixed truths but are instead flexible, malleable constructs, you take back the reins of your life. You realize that you are not a passive recipient of life's circumstances, but an active participant in creating your reality. Your beliefs become the blueprint for your success, the foundation for your happiness, and the lens through which you see the world and yourself. And as you begin to replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, something incredible happens. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstances. Instead, you become the creator of your own experiences, fully aware that the world is not something that happens to you, but something that happens through you. The power of belief becomes your most valuable tool, guiding you toward the life you've always wanted. It's not magic, it's a deeper understanding of your own power to shape reality. The more you embrace this power, the more you will see it reflected in the world around you. Chapter 4. Perception as creation. There's a deep truth in the idea that what you see is not always what is, but rather what you believe to be. Your perception of the world around you doesn't simply reflect reality. It creates it. What you interpret from a situation, a person, or an event isn't just a passive reflection. It's an active process where your mind projects meaning, context, and understanding, which in turn shapes how you experience everything in your life. The idea that perception is creation means that the world you experience is a direct result of the lens through which you view it. Consider the way you respond to a challenge. To one person, it might seem like an insurmountable obstacle, something that could lead to failure or pain. To another, it's an opportunity to learn, to grow, to stretch beyond their comfort zone. What's fascinating here is that both people are experiencing the same external event, yet their reactions are vastly different. Why? Because the perception each person has shaped their experience. What you perceive as a threat, someone else may perceive as a stepping stone. Your perspective is formed by an intricate dance of past experiences, beliefs, emotions, and expectations. It's a custom-built lens shaped over the years through your upbringing, your relationships, your triumphs, and your failures. These internal constructs color everything you encounter, from the smallest interactions to the most life-altering moments. When you shift your perspective, You essentially recalibrate the way the world interacts with you. The people you meet, the opportunities you find, and even the challenges you face are all influenced by the way you view them. If you walk into a room expecting hostility, you'll find it in every glance and every word, even if hostility isn't there. But if you expect kindness, you'll find it too. It's not magic. It's the brain's incredible ability to focus your attention on what aligns with your expectations and beliefs. This process of selective focus is what turns perception into creation. The more you focus on a certain aspect of reality, the more it becomes your experience. The truth is, you can only see what you're looking for. Imagine you're walking down a street and you're on the lookout for something specific. Let's say a red car. Even though you're surrounded by a sea of vehicles in every color, it's the red ones that capture your attention. This is because your mind has been trained to focus on what it deems important. Your thoughts are like a radar, picking up only what aligns with your internal state. If you're in a positive frame of mind, you might notice beauty in the smallest things. The way the light filters through the trees, the kindness in a stranger's smile, or the excitement of an unplanned adventure. But if you're stressed or anxious, you might only see the obstacles, the closed doors, the barriers, the things that could go wrong. This doesn't mean that the world itself changes with your perception. The world is as it is. But your interpretation, your interaction with it, your response to it, that is where the creation occurs. If you view the world as a friendly place full of opportunity, your actions, words, and decisions will align with that belief. You'll take risks, you'll seek connection, and you'll move with purpose. But if you view the world as a hostile place, filled with challenges and threats, your actions will reflect that fear. You'll shrink back from opportunities, protect yourself from potential harm, and keep your distance from others. It's not just external events that are shaped by your perception. Your very interactions with people are colored by how you choose to see them. You'll notice in the way you speak with others, the tone you use, and the assumptions you make. If you expect trust, you'll find it. If you expect disappointment, that's often what you'll encounter. This is not because people change their behavior based on your thoughts, but because your perception prompts you to act in ways that either invite connection or create distance. The beauty of understanding this is that it offers you immense power. If you realize that perception creates reality, then you understand that you can change your experience simply by altering the way you view it. You don't have to wait for the external world to change for you to experience something new. You can choose to see things differently, and in doing so, change the way you engage with the world. But shifting your perspective is not always easy. It requires intentional effort. It's not about pretending that everything is perfect or ignoring the challenges you face. It's about choosing how to respond to those challenges, how to frame them in a way that serves your growth and well-being. When you change the way you see things, you change your emotional responses, and when your emotions shift, your actions follow. And that's when you begin to create a new experience of life. The people around you, the situations you find yourself in, and the opportunities that present themselves all exist within your perception. When you choose to look for the beauty, the kindness, and the possibility in everything, you begin to attract more of it into your life. And as you continue to shift your perspective, you'll begin to notice how your world transforms. The shift isn't in the external world, it's in the way you see it. Chapter 5. The Language of Emotions. Emotions are not just fleeting feelings. They are the language of the soul. They are the currents that carry you through life, shaping your responses and guiding your choices. What you feel, and how deeply you feel it, colors everything you experience. But emotions are not just reactions. They are messengers, each carrying its own unique information about the world you live in. Understanding this language gives you the power to navigate life with intention and insight. From joy to sorrow, fear to excitement, emotions don't exist in isolation. They are connected to every aspect of your existence, your beliefs, your memories, your desires, and your fears. They tell you not just how you feel, but why you feel that way. Emotions are like the signals on a map, showing you where you are emotionally, mentally, and even physically in any given moment. But often, the complexity of these signals is overlooked. You may feel anxious, for example, and assume it's just a negative feeling to avoid. Yet anxiety could be the body's way of signaling that you care deeply about a situation and want to do your best. It could be a cue to prepare, to focus, to pay attention, rather than something to suppress or dismiss. In life's most challenging moments, emotions act as your internal compass. They tell you if something is aligned with your true desires, or if it's pushing you away from your values. When something excites you, it's a sign that you're moving in a direction that resonates with your core. Conversely, when something drains you, when your energy feels depleted or frustrated, it's often a signal that your inner alignment is out of sync with your outer reality. Emotions reflect the gap between what you want and what you believe is possible. This gap is where growth happens. It's where your inner dialogue begins to shift, where your mindset begins to transform. We often underestimate the power of negative emotions, treating them as obstacles to overcome rather than essential pieces of the human experience. Fear, anger, sadness, guilt. These are often dismissed as something to run from, but they have their place. Fear, for instance, is not only a survival instinct, it's also a signpost pointing to what matters most to you. When you fear failure, it often reveals a deep desire for success. When you feel anger, it can be an invitation to reflect on boundaries, self-respect, or past wounds that need healing. Sadness, while it may seem like a barrier, can lead to profound transformation by allowing you to process loss, whether it's the loss of an opportunity, a relationship, or a part of yourself. Through sadness, you reconnect with your own humanity, and from that space, healing and renewal can begin. But emotions are not just responses to external events. They are also deeply shaped by the way you interpret and internalize those events. Your personal history, your biases, and your values influence how you react emotionally to life's twists and turns. Two people can face the same challenge, yet one may feel it's an opportunity for growth, while the other feels overwhelmed and defeated. The difference lies not in the situation, but in the emotional lens through which it's viewed. In fact, much of what we call stress is the result of emotional misinterpretation. You might experience tension in your body or a rapid heartbeat, signs that something isn't quite right. Often this is less about the actual event and more about the story you tell yourself about that event. If you perceive a challenge as an impending failure, your body reacts in fear. But if you interpret it as an exciting challenge, your body will respond with energy and alertness. Emotions are a reflection of the internal story you tell, and as such, they have the power to reshape your reality. Another critical aspect of emotions is their role in communication. When you connect with someone emotionally, whether through joy, empathy, or shared pain, there is an unspoken language that passes between you. It's a language that transcends words. When you are truly present with someone, when you engage from a place of emotional authenticity, you create a bond that goes deeper than mere interaction. It's in these moments that you experience the full richness of human connection, where words may fall short, but emotions bridge the gap. What's powerful about emotions is that they are a doorway to understanding yourself more deeply. Every emotional response you have is an opportunity to reflect. What is this emotion trying to tell me? What does it reveal about my beliefs, my desires, my fears? Why does it feel so intense right now? When you begin to see emotions as valuable feedback rather than overwhelming forces, you start to embrace them as guides to deeper self-awareness. Instead of running from discomfort, you can lean into it, knowing that it's teaching you something about yourself and your place in the world. Ultimately, emotions are not something to be controlled or suppressed. They are to be embraced, understood, and expressed. In doing so, you free yourself from being a prisoner of your reactions, and you take back the power to create the life you want. As you learn to interpret emotions as signals rather than obstacles, you begin to see life through a different lens, one where you are not at the mercy of your feelings, but in command of them. The key is not to reject the emotions that arise, but to use them as the language that helps you navigate the complexity of human experience. The more you listen to them, the more fluent you become in understanding the messages they carry, and the more control you gain over how you experience your world. Chapter 6. Self-written stories. The stories you tell yourself are the bedrock of your reality. They shape how you see the world, how you respond to challenges, and, most importantly, how you see yourself. Every experience you've had, every decision you've made, and every belief you've held has been woven into the narrative you carry. Whether you're aware of it or not, this inner script is constantly at play, shaping your choices, your relationships, and your perception of what's possible. But what if the stories you've been telling yourself are not the truth, but a distorted version of it? What if, just like an author with a pen, you've been writing your own narrative, even when it wasn't serving you? These stories are not necessarily rooted in fact. They're shaped by the lens through which you've experienced life. They are the interpretations you've made about events, often based on the emotions and beliefs that have been ingrained over time. And because they have been with you for so long, they can feel like your personal truth. When you hold on to certain stories about yourself, you create a box in which you limit your potential. If you tell yourself that you're not good enough, that success is for other people, or that change is too difficult, these stories will govern your life. You will make choices that reflect these beliefs, often without even realizing it. The narrative you have about your abilities will keep you stuck in patterns that prevent growth. For example, someone who believes that they are incapable of change may avoid taking risks, never stepping out of their comfort zone. The story they've written about themselves limits their actions before they even take the first step. But the beauty of these stories is that they are not fixed. They are written by you and can be rewritten at any time. It's like flipping through pages of a book and deciding to write a new chapter. A new narrative allows you to shed old limitations and step into a version of yourself that's more aligned with who you are becoming, not who you once were. When you start to examine the stories you've created, you begin to see the patterns that have held you in place. It's the first step in breaking free from the confines of your old beliefs and stepping into the narrative you were always meant to live. Take a moment to reflect on the narrative you carry about your relationships. Are you the person who always seems to attract toxic people? Perhaps you've been telling yourself a story of being unlucky or unworthy of love. That narrative, written over time by your experiences and interactions, becomes a filter through which you view potential relationships. You might unknowingly choose partners or friends who reinforce this belief, perpetuating the cycle. But once you recognize that this story is not your identity, you can rewrite it. You can choose to view yourself as someone deserving of healthy, fulfilling connections, and begin to act in ways that reflect this new narrative. Similarly, think about the story you hold regarding your career or success. If you've believed that success is reserved for a select few, or that it requires unyielding sacrifice, you may have unconsciously placed limits on your own potential. The narrative of hard work equals success, but at great personal cost, may prevent you from pursuing opportunities that align with your passions. Instead of seeing your career as a grind, you could rewrite that story, seeing it as an opportunity to contribute, grow, and live in alignment with your true values. Our stories are not just about us. They also reflect the world we live in. If your inner narrative constantly reinforces that the world is a dangerous place, filled with obstacles, that's how you'll see the world. Fear and scarcity will guide your actions, and you may find yourself avoiding risks, playing small or staying stuck in situations that don't serve you. But when you begin to shift that narrative, when you choose to tell a story of abundance, of opportunity, of possibility, your perception of the world transforms. You begin to see doors where you once saw walls, and opportunities where you once saw only limitations. The narratives we hold about the past also play a significant role in shaping our present and future. The way you interpret past events creates the lens through which you view the world today. If you've experienced betrayal, failure, or loss, You may have constructed a story around those events that frames them as defining moments. It's easy to let those stories become the defining chapters of your life, stories of pain and suffering. But what if you were to change the way you look at those moments? What if you saw them not as the final words on who you are, but as the moments that gave you strength, wisdom, or resilience? By rewriting the way you frame the past, you free yourself from the weight of it and open yourself up to new possibilities. These stories we carry are also often rooted in what we've been taught or conditioned to believe. Society, family, culture, all of these forces influence the narrative we construct about ourselves. Maybe you were told you weren't smart enough, strong enough, or capable enough. These beliefs were instilled in you, often from a young age, and over time, you've made them your truth. Yet these narratives are often not your own. They are the voices of others that you've internalized. Recognizing this is the first step toward reclaiming your own story. When you begin to question these external influences and replace them with beliefs that align with your true self, you open up to a life of empowerment and possibility. The most powerful aspect of rewriting your story is that it shifts your internal world, which inevitably changes your external world. When you start to see yourself as worthy of success, love, and abundance, you begin to attract circumstances that reflect this new identity. Your actions align with your beliefs, and you start making choices that reflect the person you are becoming. What once seemed impossible becomes a natural extension of who you are, because your narrative has evolved to match the reality you wish to create. Chapter 7. The Dance of Thoughts and Actions. Your thoughts are not isolated, separate from your body. They do not simply exist in your mind waiting to fade away. They are active participants in the world you create. Every thought you entertain becomes a seed, one that grows into a belief, which in turn shapes your behaviors, choices, and the experiences you have. Your thoughts are the quiet architects of the life you live, influencing the paths you walk even before you take a single step. Consider how thoughts are like the rhythm of a dance. Just as dancers are guided by the music, your thoughts lead your actions. However, it's not a one-time performance. It's an ongoing rhythm, constantly flowing, shifting, and evolving, and your actions follow in turn. If the music of your thoughts is discordant, chaotic, or negative, your movements through life will reflect that same energy. You'll act in ways that mirror the confusion or uncertainty inside. You may procrastinate, hesitate, or avoid situations because your thoughts are out of sync with what you truly want or need. On the other hand, when your thoughts are clear, focused, and aligned with your goals, your actions are decisive and purposeful. You move through life with confidence, knowing exactly where you want to go. There's a certain fluidity in your behavior, a natural flow that occurs when your inner world is harmonized with your outer actions. The dance becomes effortless because every step you take is aligned with the rhythm of your mind. You don't hesitate, you don't second guess. You move forward with a sense of purpose, your mind and actions working together like partners in a perfect choreography. But this is where the real challenge lies. Thoughts aren't always in harmony with actions. Sometimes there's a disconnect, a mismatch between what you think and what you do. You may have grand ideas, lofty dreams, and high hopes for yourself, but if your thoughts are riddled with doubt or insecurity, your actions will betray your aspirations. For instance, you might think you deserve success, but deep down, you may believe that you're not capable or worthy of achieving it. This internal tug-of-war creates tension between what you want to accomplish and how you show up in the world. The gap between thought and action grows wider, and the dance begins to falter. Take a moment to notice how this tension plays out in daily life. Have you ever made a decision with great intention only to find yourself acting contrary to that decision soon after? It could be something simple, like deciding to wake up early to work on your goals, but the next morning, you hit the snooze button, ignoring the commitment you made to yourself. Or perhaps it's something bigger, like setting a goal for financial independence, but unconsciously sabotaging your progress with spending habits that don't reflect your true values. This misalignment between thoughts and actions keeps you stuck in a repetitive cycle, where you think one thing but act in ways that are inconsistent with that thought. The dance of thoughts and actions is not just about achieving goals or outcomes. It's about understanding how the two are intricately connected and learning to sync them. If your actions don't reflect your thoughts, it's a signal that there's something in your mindset that needs attention. Maybe there's a fear of failure or a sense of inadequacy that keeps you from stepping into your power. These internal conflicts create a dance that's offbeat, awkward, and inefficient. The way to bring harmony into this dance is by first acknowledging the tension, then working to change the underlying beliefs or thought patterns that are causing the discord. When you begin to master the rhythm between thoughts and actions, you'll notice a subtle but powerful shift in your life. The process becomes fluid, like a well-rehearsed dance routine. Every thought that enters your mind doesn't automatically lead to a reactionary action. Instead, you begin to evaluate the thought, assess its validity, and choose an action that aligns with your highest self. You don't simply act on autopilot. You become conscious of every step you take, ensuring that each action is a deliberate movement toward your desired outcome. This dance, however, is not about rigid control. It's about creating a harmonious flow between your inner world and the outer expression of that world. It's about being in tune with yourself, recognizing when your thoughts are guiding you in a direction that serves you, and when they're pulling you away from what you truly desire. There will be moments when the rhythm of your thoughts speeds up, urging you to take bold actions, and there will be times when the music slows, signaling the need for reflection and pause. The key is learning to recognize the tempo and adjust your actions accordingly. Think of a time when you've been deeply aligned, when your thoughts, actions, and desires have all been in sync. Maybe it was a moment of deep focus, a time when you felt unstoppable, energized, and in the flow. That's the dance of thoughts and actions working together seamlessly. You don't have to force it. When you trust the process and allow the rhythm to guide you, life begins to unfold effortlessly. It's also important to recognize that, just like any dance, this rhythm isn't always perfect. Sometimes your thoughts will wander off beat, and your actions might not reflect your intentions. That's natural. The key is to remain aware of the dissonance and take conscious steps to bring yourself back into harmony. Rather than feeling frustrated or defeated when things go awry, treat each misstep as an opportunity to refine your rhythm. The more you practice synchronizing your thoughts and actions, the easier and more natural the dance will become. Chapter 8. Unseen Connections. Every interaction, every opportunity, and every relationship you encounter is not just a coincidence. There's an invisible thread that ties your inner world to the outer experiences you have. Like an unseen force, this connection operates quietly beneath the surface, subtly guiding the events of your life. While you might not always see it, feel it, or even acknowledge it, the truth remains. The energy you exude shapes the reality you attract. Imagine for a moment that you are a magnet. Your thoughts, emotions, and even your deepest beliefs act as the magnetic field that attracts specific energies into your life. These energies are not just random. They are a direct reflection of what's happening inside you. If you are constantly filled with doubt, fear, or negativity, you will find yourself surrounded by situations and people that mirror those emotions. People who reinforce your insecurities, events that seem to perpetuate your struggles. On the other hand, when you cultivate peace, confidence, and optimism, you draw experiences and relationships that match that energy. It's not magic. It's the law of attraction in action. Your inner vibrations, whether you realize it or not, set the tone for the experiences that unfold around you. This unseen connection between your inner state and the world outside you isn't just a mystical idea. It's rooted in the way the mind and body work together. Your thoughts and feelings aren't just passive internal processes. They are active forces that influence how you show up in the world. When you feel positive, it's not just your mind that's affected. Your body language shifts, your tone of voice changes, and the way you carry yourself exudes a certain energy. People around you can sense it. It's in the way you walk, speak, and even how you listen. These signals act as an invitation to others, an invitation that determines the kind of people and experiences you attract. Think about the times you've been around someone who exudes negativity or tension. It's not always something they say, but their presence alone seems to shift the energy of the room. Conversely, think of someone who carries an aura of calm or warmth. Without uttering a word, their energy fills the space and affects everyone around them. That's the unseen connection at work, the way our internal state subtly influences the environment we create. However, these connections go far beyond interpersonal relationships. They extend to the circumstances you draw into your life as well. If your thoughts are consumed by scarcity, fear, and limitation, you begin to see the world through those lenses. You may find yourself making choices that reinforce those beliefs, avoiding risks, hesitating to seize opportunities, and doubting your ability to create the life you desire. As a result, your outer reality starts to reflect those choices. Opportunities slip by unnoticed, and challenges seem to arise at every turn, as though the world itself is conspiring against you. On the flip side, when your mindset shifts toward abundance, growth, and possibility, something remarkable happens. The universe responds to that energy, presenting you with opportunities you might have otherwise missed. People who resonate with your energy will cross your path. Opportunities that seemed out of reach suddenly appear. And it's not because the world has changed overnight, but because you've changed. You've elevated your energy to a frequency that attracts what you've been longing for, whether it's success, love, or peace. This phenomenon isn't reserved for only the grand moments of life. The unseen connection extends to the small, everyday experiences as well. Your morning ritual, the thoughts you wake up with, the way you greet the day, it all sets the tone for how the rest of your day will unfold. If you start your day in a rush, overwhelmed by stress or anxiety, that energy permeates everything you do. You may find yourself running into delays, misunderstandings, or moments of frustration that match that energy. However, when you begin your day with intention, with calm and gratitude, the world around you often mirrors that attitude. Even the smallest moments begin to reflect the inner peace you've cultivated, from the people you encounter to the situations you face. This connection is not bound by time or place. It transcends physical boundaries. Your thoughts and emotions travel beyond your immediate environment, affecting situations you might not even be aware of. The way you hold yourself, the confidence or self-doubt you carry within you, communicates to the world around you in subtle yet powerful ways. You may not realize it, but the energy you radiate reaches farther than you think. It has the power to impact people, events, and circumstances in ways you may never fully see but can certainly feel. It's important to recognize that the unseen connections between your inner state and the external world are not static. They evolve as you do. As your emotional landscape shifts, so too does the energy you project. When you are in alignment with your true self, when you feel authentic, empowered, and grounded, you align with a higher vibration. This alignment changes not just how you experience the world, but how the world experiences you. It becomes easier to attract what you desire, to connect with people who share your values, and to manifest opportunities that seem to magically appear out of nowhere. The key, however, is awareness. You must begin to notice the ways in which your inner state shapes your reality. Pay attention to the energy you bring to each moment, each encounter. Become conscious of the thoughts that run through your mind, the emotions that guide your actions, and the ways they influence your outcomes. Once you become aware of this connection, you can begin to harness it, intentionally shifting your energy to create the experiences you desire. As you cultivate a deeper understanding of this unseen connection, it becomes clear that the world outside of you is not a passive backdrop to your life. Instead, it is an active reflection of your inner world, mirroring your thoughts, emotions, and energy. The more you shift your inner state, the more you begin to shape your external reality. It's not about forcing change, but about understanding the flow of energy and aligning yourself with it. When you do, you begin to see the profound impact it has on your life, one that goes far beyond what meets the eye. Chapter 9. The Flow of Life's Echoes. The rhythm of your life is not dictated solely by the events that occur around you. It is, in fact, shaped by the resonance of your internal world. Like the echo of a sound bouncing off a distant surface, the emotions, thoughts, and energies you cultivate within you reverberate outward, shaping the interactions and experiences you encounter. What you send out into the world is received and reflected back to you in ways that influence the course of your life. Consider how a peaceful mind, one that is grounded in gratitude, clarity, and calm, exudes a certain energy that others can't help but feel. It's like being in the presence of someone who carries an aura of quiet strength, a force so palpable that it creates harmony wherever they go. The way they speak, the way they listen, the energy they project, all serve as a reflection of the inner balance they've cultivated. This internal harmony sets the tone for how they are treated by the world. People respond to them with respect, warmth, and understanding. Opportunities open up to them with ease. Even in the face of challenge, they remain composed, navigating life's obstacles with a centered mind. It's as though their internal calm invites life's events to flow in harmony with them. On the other hand, when there is discord within, when inner turmoil, fear, or resentment reign, life has a way of mirroring that chaos. This doesn't mean that life will intentionally make things difficult for you. Rather, your internal state creates a frequency that attracts similar dissonance from the world. Disagreements, misunderstandings, and frustration tend to arise more frequently. Doors that were once open seem to close, and the path forward feels murky. It's not the world itself changing, it's your perspective and energy that has shifted, thus affecting your reality. This is the power of life's echoes. They are not static. They are the reverberations of everything that you feel, think, and express. Imagine that each thought, each feeling, each action is like a stone dropped into the calm surface of a pond. The ripples extend far beyond the point of impact, touching everything around them. It's not always immediate and it's not always visible, but the energy you put out into the world will, without fail, return to you in one form or another. This return is not always linear or predictable, but it is inevitable. One of the most powerful ways to understand this concept is through the lens of relationships. Think about the times you've entered a room feeling anxious or upset, only to have that mood affect those around you. People may not even know the specific reason for your unrest, but they feel it. This unspoken energy becomes contagious, altering the dynamic of your interactions. On the contrary, when you enter a space with a positive, open, and welcoming demeanor, people naturally gravitate toward you. Your inner harmony acts as a bridge, fostering connection and understanding. Your relationships, whether personal or professional, are a mirror of the energy you project. If you find yourself caught in cycles of conflict or misunderstanding, it's worth considering what part of your own inner world might be contributing to this dynamic. Relationships are reflections, sometimes showing us parts of ourselves we may not want to see. When we address the inner discord and work to find peace within, the echoes of that work start to show up in the form of healthier, more supportive interactions. The same principle applies to life's opportunities. If your inner world is filled with negativity and doubt, your perception of the world around you shifts. You may begin to see obstacles where opportunities exist, or you might ignore the chances for growth that arise simply because your internal state clouds your vision. But when your inner world is aligned with possibility, hope, and trust, you begin to see opportunities where you once saw limitations. You approach situations with a mindset that is open and willing, which naturally attracts the very success and experiences you desire. These internal echoes are not confined to just your emotions or thoughts. They also extend to your physical energy. The way you carry yourself, your body language, the tension or relaxation in your posture, it all communicates something to the world. Have you ever noticed how people are drawn to someone who is relaxed and confident? Their energy is magnetic, and it radiates outward, attracting the same calm and assurance from others. Conversely, someone who is tense or anxious often finds themselves met with resistance or misunderstanding. The flow of their energy is misaligned with the world around them, and so the world reflects that back in subtle ways. Even your health is affected by this flow. When your mind is in a constant state of stress, fear, or negativity, your body can't help but mirror that imbalance. Stress manifests in physical ways: tension, fatigue, illness, and a sense of exhaustion. But when you cultivate peace and harmony within, your physical body often follows suit. You feel energized, vital, and connected to your own sense of well-being. The relationship between the mind and body is not separate. It is an intricate dance, and when one is out of sync, the other is sure to follow. It's easy to see these echoes in a moment of crisis. When you're under pressure, your inner state becomes even more important. If you face challenges with a mindset rooted in fear and doubt, you might find yourself overwhelmed, unable to navigate the storm. But when you approach adversity with calm determination, trusting that you will find a way through, the challenges seem to lose their weight. Life's echoes respond to your internal vibrations, softening or intensifying based on your emotional state. It's important to remember that these echoes are not just about passive energy. They are active forces. The way you react to the world around you sends a message about the energy you are willing to attract. If you respond to negativity with more negativity, you feed that cycle. But if you respond with understanding, empathy, and grace, you begin to shift the energy of the situation. Your inner state becomes the force that shapes the outer world, and slowly, you begin to create the reality you desire. The flow of life's echoes is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Every thought, every feeling, every action contributes to the melody of your life. The more aware you become of this, the more you can consciously shift the music to one that resonates with peace, love, and abundance. As you harmonize your inner world, the echoes that return to you are ones of opportunity, connection, and fulfillment. Chapter 10. Beyond the Surface. There is a world inside of you that holds the key to everything you experience on the outside. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of daily life, reacting to external events and following the familiar path of what's expected. But beneath the noise and distractions of the surface lies a much deeper reality, one that, when understood, has the power to change the way you interact with everything in your life. To truly live, to truly engage with the world in a meaningful way, you must venture beyond the surface and into the depths of your own being. When you look at the world from the surface, everything appears to be separate, distinct, and fixed. You see people as individuals, events as isolated moments, and your thoughts as the only truth. But the moment you turn inward and begin to explore your inner landscape, you realize that everything is connected in ways you've never imagined. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions shape your perception of the world, and they form the foundation of your reality. The outer world is just a reflection of what's going on inside you. Take a moment to think about how often you find yourself reacting to situations, responding to a disagreement, a setback, or even a compliment, without pausing to understand the deeper motivations at play. Your reaction is based on what lies beneath the surface of your awareness. It's rooted in your history, your beliefs, your fears, and your desires. When you're not conscious of what's happening inside, your responses to the world are automatic, dictated by old patterns and unexamined beliefs. But when you learn to look beyond the surface, you start to see that your inner world is shaping every interaction, every choice, and every experience. This is the magic of self-awareness. By understanding the layers of your own psyche, the beliefs, emotions, and stories you hold about yourself, you unlock the ability to engage with life from a place of choice, rather than reaction. The more you understand your own triggers, motivations, and fears, the more power you have to shift your responses and create a reality that aligns with your true desires. It's not about controlling life, but about understanding that your perception of it is colored by your inner world. And by transforming that world, you transform your experience. Often we live in a state of unconsciousness, moving through life as if we are passive participants. We let external events define us, our moods, our successes, our failures. But when you go beyond the surface, you begin to see that your inner world has far more influence over your reality than anything outside of you. The way you feel about yourself, the way you view others, the way you perceive situations, all of this is rooted in your internal state. Your thoughts and emotions are the lens through which you see the world, and when you start to clean that lens, your reality becomes clearer, more expansive, and more vibrant. As you begin to explore your inner world, you realize that everything you experience is an invitation for growth. Challenges, setbacks, and conflicts are not just random events. They are reflections of something within you that is asking to be understood. Each moment is an opportunity to look deeper, to understand why you feel the way you do, why you react the way you do, and what beliefs are driving those reactions. When you do this, you free yourself from the grip of unconscious patterns, and you begin to live more intentionally, more present, and more alive. The key is not to escape from your emotions or thoughts, but to understand them, to get curious about them. Why do certain situations make you feel angry or anxious? What is it about those experiences that trigger something deep inside you? Often, the feelings that arise are not just about the external event. They are about something within you that hasn't been acknowledged or healed. When you can observe your emotions without judgment and allow them the space to be felt, you begin to see them for what they are: passing experiences, not permanent states of being. You start to realize that your thoughts and feelings don't define you. They are just temporary visitors passing through your mind. But self-awareness is only the beginning. Once you understand the workings of your inner world, you can start to engage with life on a much deeper level. You begin to realize that everything around you is interconnected. The way you feel about others, the way you treat the world, and the way you respond to challenges all ripple out and impact your reality. The more you cultivate awareness of your inner state, the more you realize that you are a participant in the unfolding of your own life. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstances, but an active creator of your experience. Your perception of the world shifts when you begin to see beyond the surface. You begin to recognize that what you perceive as obstacles are really just stepping stones, and what you once saw as challenges are now opportunities for growth. The problems you face are not as much about the situation itself, but about how you choose to interpret them. And when you start to look deeper, you begin to see that every problem has the potential to teach you something valuable. Every setback holds the seeds for future success. But to truly engage with reality in a meaningful way, you have to go beyond surface-level solutions. Too often, we try to fix things on the outside, changing circumstances, manipulating situations, or blaming others for our unhappiness. While external changes can be helpful, they are only temporary if they are not supported by a deeper shift within. Real transformation happens when you go inward, uncovering and dismantling the beliefs, fears, and patterns that have held you back for so long. When you do this, everything around you begins to change. The way you see others, the way you see challenges, and the way you see yourself, all shift in profound ways. True engagement with reality happens when you stop looking at life as something happening to you, and start seeing it as something you are co-creating. Life becomes less about reacting to circumstances and more about understanding the lessons within them. You begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, how your thoughts, feelings, and actions shape your experiences, and how the world reflects those inner states back to you. When you venture beyond the surface, you uncover a new kind of freedom. A freedom that comes from understanding that you are not a passive observer of your life, but an active participant in creating it. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions are not random. They are the building blocks of your reality. And as you gain deeper insight into your own inner workings, you begin to move through life with a sense of purpose, clarity, and connection. You no longer view life through the lens of limitation, but through the lens of possibility. And as you continue to explore beyond the surface, you'll discover that life is far more expansive, far more beautiful, and far more transformative than you ever imagined. Conclusion. The truth you've uncovered is as simple as it is profound. The life you live is shaped not by the world around you, but by the world within you. Every thought, every emotion, every belief you hold. These are the invisible forces that construct your reality. The moments you once thought were beyond your control are, in fact, part of a grand design that you yourself have woven. And now, you stand at the threshold of a new beginning, with the power to consciously shape the course of your life. As you step into this understanding, remember that it's not about changing the world. It's about transforming the lens through which you see it. The external world will continue to shift and evolve, but when your inner world is in harmony, the shifts become opportunities rather than challenges. Your actions, your responses, and your relationships, everything begins to flow in alignment with the truth that has been waiting for you all along. This is not the end. It is, in fact, the most exciting part of the journey. You now possess the tools to consciously create, to break free from the patterns that no longer serve you, and to step into the life that you've always dreamed of but never thought possible. The power to transform your world was never outside of you. It was within you, quietly shaping your every moment. The real magic is in the simplicity of knowing that you hold the pen to your own story, and with each thought, each choice, you have the chance to rewrite it. This is your life. It's yours to shape, yours to design, and yours to live fully and without limitation. As you continue forward, let the echoes of your inner world shape a reality that reflects the fullest expression of who you truly are.